This really has been quite an amazing, amazing day. I've been here before, just as a tourist by myself with my family, but to come here and go through the tour with President Zuma, who was resident here for 10 years, to have you share with us his feelings, his experiences, the places that he was and the confinement that they went through, like the one in Notre Dame that you described, that many of them would be locked up in a closed space with open space above, rain, shine, to visit Mandela's cell. Of course, here we're celebrating the launch of the Sulu Foundation, to see where Sulu himself was resident for 27 years, to be in the courtyard where they used to all come together to eat, to listen to the stories of how they slept in their cells completely naked all night and only to wear their shorts because the warden is coming in the morning. And then followed up with his speech, with his own analysis and a brief recollection of some of the most egregious abuses they were put through. It has just been an amazing morning. What a privilege to have the opportunity to listen to one of our own heroes, people who fought, people who gave their lives for this country, for the freedoms that we enjoy today, the freedoms we have a tendency to take for granted. For me, I just feel that it's a treat that should almost be made a privilege for every Black person who cares about who we are, who cares about our history, who cares about how the future can be and must be better for us. This is a journey that every Black person must partake. So we may never ever forget where we come from, where we have been, and use it as a measure of the journey ahead. Yes, we have moved mountains as Black people. Not only Black people in South Africa, but Black people around the world. But we have a long way to go before we can eventually stand on top of the tallest mountain and proclaim that victory is eventually won. Victory that belongs to the originators, victory that belongs to the mothers and fathers of humanity, victory that was stolen from us centuries ago. That victory, we all must understand the importance of winning it back. It's not going to be handed to us. We have to just take it. But to take it, we must be armed with knowledge and understanding of how it was done, how it was stolen from us, how we were before the rest of the world was, how we are the race, we are the people who educated the world, we are the people who civilized the world, we are the people who let the rest of the world know what it means to be human. All that glory was taken away from us. Coming here today, it humbles me. It gave me a moment to reflect on where we have been and what it took for me to be where I am today as an individual, as a Black woman, as a Black person. And that it's a journey that must be shared. So I encourage as many of us as possible to make the journey to Robben Island and see what it took for this country to be what it is. And let's not take this country and those who fought for it for granted.
And then they had an alternative there to say, okay, let us agree. They allowed PW de Klerk, those who were still alive will remember, when he made a statement addressing the white population in South Africa. He said, the world is changing. We also must change. We cannot fail to change. Because if we don't change, we are faced with two choices: to adapt or die. We need to choose between these two. He was now telling the whites the time for negotiations has come. And indeed, thereafter, there are many things the Western countries did to help because they promised South Africa that we will do everything to ensure that you succeed. They said, the Western countries, we will make it a point that as you negotiate, we, as Western countries, put together. When I'm very old, I'll write which countries were talking among themselves, not now. That our job will be to weaken the ANC because it is too strong, too big. We want to weaken it so that it becomes smaller, so that it does not run the country on its own. It must be forced to have parties that will work with. They also did a number of things. Many lives left or were taken away because they wanted, in order to reduce the strength of the African National Congress, it was also to reduce the leadership of the ANC that they thought were a threat, or they would not allow the ANC to be weakened. Hence, quite a number of assassinations, as well as quite a number of, what is this thing, where people just feel my arm is getting weak. Nibizanitin? Huh? What? Huh? It's called stroke. Oh, you said it at the same time. That's why people like our president, Oliver Tambo, became a victim. Not him alone, but some also among what we were referred to as our enemy, who were too radical for their thing. They also received the same from their brothers because they thought they were, in another way, they will also delay the negotiations. Others were killed, like Christian, etc. That was a part of weakening South Africa so that the objectives that were enshrined in our document, the Freedom Charter, should not be implemented. So they planned and did every other thing. And the issue, therefore, of the comrades who are here, who have stayed forever, who could have died, it was obvious that we were supposed not to say we cannot negotiate, but to know in negotiations what we wanted to achieve, where will it end? And indeed, the leaders or the Western world in this country planned a long process which involved, among others,